All right, this video is going to simulate a game and show you how to fill out the scorebook for our home games at Oakmont. So the game begins, or each quarter begins with a sprint for the ball. So we have here on the right side the sprints. So let's say first period, and Roseville wins the sprint, Bros wins it, so cap number 3, we just put that there. This is not critical piece, but if you can get it, great. If you lose it, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. All right, the next part is the game progress. I filled it out in advance here to save us time on the video, but I'm going to go through each thing that happens. So the first thing here, at 6:02, white cap 7, scored a goal, and it's 1-0. And I put the goals on the right-hand side of the remark. And I put my ejections and penalties on the left side to help us quickly find it if we're going to look at in the scorebook. Now after that, we need to then also put that up here. So we're going to go to white 7. So white 7's right here, first quarter, and we're going to put for Carlson, they got a goal. There's a spot here for attempts. I'm not going to ask you to fill out the attempts. We're just going to put the goals in there. There's enough going on during the game than trying to do that at the same time. So then the next, at 4:31, we have white number 5 scores a goal, and it's now 2-0. So we're going to go to white 5, which is Campbell. First quarter, Campbell scores a goal. All right. 4:11, white 16 is ejected. Score is still 2-0. So now what we need to do, this is very important, up here where it says fouls, we want to go to white 16, Helton here, and we're going to put a slash mark in the foul, and we're going to say Q1. We want to put what period it is in case someone questions later on how many fouls Helton has. You can go back to the book here and go, well, he had 1 here in the first quarter and anywhere else that happened in the game. We'll be able to quickly find that information. All right. Next thing that happens, 4:02, dark 11 scores a goal. It's now 2-1. So we go up here to first quarter, dark 11, Reeker, and we put a goal. Okay, 1:43, dark 3, P for 5-meter penalty shot. So they actually did a pullback or some kind of foul when the opponent was about to score a goal. And they call a 5-meter penalty. That's the same as ejection. The player doesn't have to leave the game, but they get a free shot on goal. And it counts as a major foul. So what we need to do now is we need to go to dark 3. So dark 3 Moss, and we're going to go over the fouls. And we're going to put a slash there. And we're going to say Q1. All right. Then at 1:43, they must have scored the 5-meter. White 15, goal. It's now 3-1 white. So we got to put that score in for 15. I go up to 15. Oh, I didn't have a name there. Johnson. Johnson scored a goal. There we go. For 1:43, we have dark. Timeout, 3-1. So now we go over to the right side here where it says timeouts, and we're going to go dark, and we're going to put a little X there, and I'll put a little Q1 there. Again, people sometimes argue how many timeouts they've taken. Coaches, we forget sometimes. And I didn't take that many timeouts, and then go back to the book. Oh, yes, you did. Here it is. 1:29, dark 9. Scores a goal. It's now 3-2. So we go to dark 9. And we're going to go up to first quarter, and we're going to put a goal there. All right, that's the end of the first quarter. So we draw a line because we want to use all the space. We never know in a game how much of this we're going to use. Sometimes there's very little to write down. Sometimes officials are kicking people out left and right. So you're filling out this book and then some. So we want to save space, so we just put into Q1, we draw a line, then we're going to begin quarter 2 below. But between quarters, you want to kind of go back and look at your book. Did you get all the goals? So we had 1, 2, 3 goals here for Roseville. So white goal, white goal, that's a dark goal, white goal, and then 2 dark goals. So I do have 2 dark goals in the book, and I have 3 white goals. So 1, 2, 3. So we got the 3 goals there. So for the score for the first period, we're going to go white scored 3, dark scored 2. Just confirm I have them here. Yes, I do. There's my 2. All right, so I got my goals. Then I'm also going to check for my ejections. I had an ejection. I have 1 here and 1 here, 1 for each team. So I look in here and look, I see my ejection and my penalty here, 1 for white and 1 for dark, so we're okay there. All right, next quarter begins, and there's a sprint, and this time dark number 4. I'll say dark 4. I didn't do that last time, so I should have said white 3. White 3, I'm going to go dark 4 this time. Wins the sprint. Okay, so then at 5:04, white number 7 is ejected. Score is still 3-2. So we're going to go up to white 7, and they're ejected. It's their first ejection, so we're going to go like this and Q2. All right. Then at 4:55, dark number 3 scores a goal. The game is now tied 3-3. We go up to dark 3, and we go second quarter, right? And they scored a goal. All right. Then at 2:31, dark 10 is ejected. Score still 3-3. So we got to go up to dark 10. Go over to there. It's their first ejection, first major foul, but we're going to put Q2. All right. Then at 2:01, we have white number 12 ejected. It's 3-3. So we're going to go to white 12. Ejections, here are the fouls, and this is again Q2. Then at 1:47, we have dark 5 scores a goal. It's down 3-4. So we have to go to dark 5, second quarter, goal. All right, 1:47, we have white timeout. It's 3-4. All right, so we're going to go to our timeouts for white, and we're going to say, okay, there's their timeout. This was Q2. Then we have at 1:32, we have a dark, and it says TO30, so this is the new one. You get 1 30-second timeout. You're basically a setup timeout. You get ejected. You get an ejection on the counterattack, and you don't want to waste all your time. The guy's swimming down, so you can call a quick timeout just for basically the guys to go down and set up, or maybe a real quick substitution. So the timeout 30, I kind of made mine up, so I'm going to put it here. We used our 30-second timeout. I'm going to put the little X here and say that was Q2. We used the 30. All right, so at this point, the white team's got 2 full timeouts and a 30. White has just 2 full timeouts left. Sometimes the officials will ask you how we're doing on timeouts. 1:18, dark 7 scores a goal, so it's now 3-5. We go up to dark 7, second quarter, and we mark the goal. That is the end of the second quarter. So looking at the second quarter, we should have 1, 2, 3 ejections. 1 was white, 1's dark, 1's white. So 2 white ejections. So I look at here, I got my 2 white ejections here. And 1 for dark. In second quarter, there's my second quarter dark. So I'm okay with my ejections. That's all correct. Now, score-wise, my goals, I had a dark goal, I had a dark goal, and I had a dark goal. So there was 3 goals scored by dark, and we had no goals scored by white that quarter. So I put the score just for that quarter here. We're going to add it up at the end. So we're just going to put how many goals were scored that quarter. Again, we can come back here and double check that. All right, so that's the end of the second quarter. So now the third quarter begins. Again, begins with a sprint. And so this time, white 3 wins it. So white 3 wins the sprint. We mark that down there. Some of the game goes and goes and goes. Not a whole lot happens. Well, then at 4:10, White 10 scores a goal. It's now 4-5. So we go to white 10. We go over to the third period, third quarter, and we put a goal there. Then at 1:43, white 5 scores a goal, and it's 5-5. So we got to go to white 5. Here's 5 Campbell, and we're going to go to the third quarter, and bam, there's our goal. All right, that's the end of the third quarter, so not a whole lot of action there. So this one's easy. So we just had 2 goals were scored for that quarter. Oakmont had no goals. They had 3 in the second. So we're going to go up here, and we're going to go white scored 2, and Oakmont scored 0 in the third quarter. So our score, check your scoreboard. Is everything right? We got 5-5. Everything's good here. Ready for the last quarter. So last quarter starts, and white 3 is just very good. Wins again. White 3 wins the sprint. Nothing goes on for a while, but at 4:30, dark 16 is ejected. So we go again to dark 16 and the ejection, and we put Q4. Now, let's talk about the fouls. If you get 3, once you see 2 here, you need to be on alert at the desk. So when they get their third foul, we'll have a flags at the desk. There'll be a red flag, and you need to have someone needs to wave the red flag to the bench, to signal to the officials, to signal to the team that that player is now out of the game. They're not. Once you have 3 major fouls, you're out of the game. Just like fouling out in basketball with 5 fouls or 6 fouls, depending on the level. So we don't have that situation here, but I just want to bring it up. So then 4:28, we have a white. They took their 30-second timeout because they got the ejection there. They want to set up real quick. So they took their 30-second timeout. So we go down here and we say, okay, they took that Q4. All right, so now both teams have 2 full timeouts left. Then at 4:14, white 8 scores a goal. Roseville goes up 6-5. We got to go to white 8. Who is not named here, but that's okay. So we don't have the name. It's all right. We can always add it later. Fourth quarter, they scored a goal. So after the game, we didn't have a name here. We could actually go and ask them, who's your number 8? We didn't have a name on your roster for number 8. And they let us know. And which brings up another great point. Sometimes the other cap could happen during the game. Someone gets the cap broken during the game, or it sinks to the bottom of a real deep pool and we can't find the cap right away. A lot of times an alternative cap is given to that player. So that's another reason where we use the other cap. Anyway, that's a sidebar. All right, next thing that happens, did I get the goal? White 8. Yes, I did get the goal. 4th period, there it is. Next, 4:14. Dark calls a timeout, not happy about that goal. So dark timeout, so we mark it here. Q4. Officials will probably say, Coach, you got 1 more timeout. And Roseville, you got 2 more timeouts. 2:36, dark 9 scores a goal. So dark 9, we go to dark 9 here, par, 4th quarter, goal. It's now 6-6. 45 seconds, white 16 is ejected, score is still 6-6. Go to white 16, Helton. Helton, Q4, has another ejection. Now he's got 2. We got to look if he gets kicked out again, but the game's almost over. So then 45 seconds, Dark called a timeout, full timeout. So that's their last timeout, Q4, no more timeouts remaining. All right, then at 31 seconds, Dark 11 scores. So it is a goal, Dark 11. So I go to 11, Dark, goal. So now it is 7-6. I'm going to go ahead and say here at 31 seconds that White would call a timeout here. Set up a play. It didn't work. Score remains 7-6. And that's the end of the game. So then we have to still reconcile the book. So we look in, we got 1 goal here for Roseville in the 4th quarter, and we had 2 for Oakmont. So we had 2 to 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the final. 2, 3, 5 is 7. 7 to 6 is the final score. Then you'll have the referees, and they will either 1 or 2 signatures will go here for the official book. Okay, and that's how you run the scorebook. So it's not that bad. Usually you have spotters at the desk also help you out because you have your head down working on this. We typically recommend that you do a game where your kid's not playing, because you can't cheer from the desk and you'll miss things. You know, if you're head down here, you're doing something, all of a sudden your kid makes a great pass or your kid scores a goal and you missed it because your head's down in here and you're doing your job here, what you're supposed to do. So obviously we typically ask, JV parents do the varsity game, varsity parents do the JV game, but sometimes parents would prefer to do their own kid's game. That's fine, that's up to you. I'm just saying from my own personal experience, when I was watching my daughter play high school water polo and I did the books, I hated doing it during when she was playing in the game. So I typically would do the JV games, and I'd just be the dad for the varsity games. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching. I greatly appreciate parent support and helping us run the desk this season.